From KARK4 and Fox 16, this is a special report. Here's Mitch McCoy.
Good day to you. We have just arrived on the scene, the 3200 block of South Pulaski in Little Rock. This is going to be the capital city's 51st homicide of 2021. Numerous law enforcement officers in the area, along with Little Rock Police homicide detectives right now. Let me show you 3200 block of South Pulaski. It's right off of Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, not far from West 33rd Street. You can see it is somewhat close to the South End area, or it is actually in the South End area. There is a lot of law enforcement officers in that area right now. Good afternoon to you. I'm Mitch McCoy. We were talking to you about this as breaking news. We brought it to you at the end of our 12:30 newscast. So I want to welcome in all of our folks that are joining us on the mobile phone app or on our Facebook page. I want to show you that area right now. Our crew just arrived in it. Again, it's the 51st homicide of the year so far here in Little Rock in the 3200 block of South Pulaski. I want to bring in our Jay Burr. He just arrived on the scene as well. Jay, hello, good afternoon to you. Catch us up to speed on what's happening out there in the 3200 block of South Pulaski. Obviously, the area is combed off with crime scene tape.
Yeah, Mitch, as you mentioned, as of right now, don't have a whole lot of details as to what has happened out here, other than this was a shooting that ended up turning into a homicide. Police tell me that on the way to the hospital or at the hospital, this person did end up dying. So as you mentioned, the 51st homicide of the year. Not sure when that call came in. We got word of it around that 12:30 hour, but not sure when the exact call did come through here. Right now, police do have somebody that they are questioning. They haven't labeled that person as a suspect or even a person of interest as of right now, but they are interviewing somebody to hopefully get a little more detail as to maybe what happened, when it happened, how it happened here in Little Rock.
Looking at your live video here, Jay, it looks like the crime scene technicians have just arrived on the scene. Can you point us in a direction of where this shooting took place? Because it's our understanding that this was a shooting.
Yes, so I'm not sure if you can make it out in the picture there. Yeah, you see sort of the bluish house there. Here you go. You got a little better angle from where I'm at here. So this house right here, it should be just behind that. So you kind of see how Pulaski sort of almost looks like an alleyway going through there. And it's just behind that sort of bluish, kind of gray looking house that a lot of the officers and the crime scene techs have been rolling in and out of. They've kind of got both ends of the 3200 block of Pulaski marked off here. As you can kind of see behind me, I'm going to get a little higher angle here than what you see from Ross, our photographer there. But yeah, that's kind of the area right there that police, in fact, you can kind of see some of them right now kind of walking out from sort of behind that wooden fenced area. There should be another kind of residence back in that area. That's our understanding of the layout of things right now. But again, still details, not a whole lot of them right now. I did get off the phone with Little Rock Police just a few minutes ago. They did say that they should be getting an update from some of the detectives here, hopefully in the next about 15 to 20 minutes.
That would be good. An update to what is happening. Jay, you know, I got to point out the fact that it was just about 24 hours ago that we were airing our story on violent crime in the capital city. Little Rock on pace to be one of the most violent years in the last decade. And so when you look at the fact that there's been yet another homicide, it also comes at a time that the city board is going to be meeting in just a matter of hours. It will be interesting to see if this conversation comes up at all now that LRPD is on the scene of this homicide.
Yeah, exactly. So you would think that just public safety, crime in general, would be something that does come up, especially in this meeting, and especially after voters denied that sales tax increase, some of which was supposed to go towards public safety. So it'll be interesting now how they go about reallocating those things. In fact, we saw. In fact, you sent an interesting post from the North Little Rock FOP, basically recruiting Little Rock police officers. So kind of a lot of things going on when it does come to the city of Little Rock and especially the police department right now.
Jay, your photographer is zooming in. Can you show us what he's zooming in on? It looks like they've started deploying evidence markers here in the crime scene as these crime scene technicians just arrive on the scene.
Yeah, they might be wrapping up. Some of the crime scene techs were actually here when we arrived, and we've probably been here now about maybe 15 minutes or so. But yeah, we did see a couple here in the alleyway here of South Pulaski, or kind of what I'm referring to as the alley here. Even though it is a marked street here. But yeah, we've kind of seen them walk in and out maybe 2 or 3 times. So they've been here for a little bit now. And it does seem that things are maybe wrapping up, at least the scene kind of itself being wrapped up here just a little bit. Other than those crime scene markers, we really haven't seen much. Again, it's just kind of at the very odd angle that we're able to see things right now. Again, it's kind of behind this sort of blue house, 1224 South Pulaski Street, just kind of on the other side of that. Yeah, so again, but they've been here for a little bit here, and right now they do have some bags that they're collecting, so still processing the scene for sure.
The crime scene technicians just arriving on the scene of this deadly shooting. For folks just joining us, I'm Mitch McCoy alongside Jay Burr. We're bringing you live coverage. This is going to be the 51st homicide in the capital city so far in 2021. LRPD on the scene here. We're told that they responded to this area around just after 11:30 this morning. That's according to the city's dispatch log. And the call came in possibly as a disturbance with a weapon in progress call. But that is unconfirmed. That is only according to initial information from the city's dispatch log. The photographer here, Jay, let's just let people know, the photographer here is zoomed in on a vehicle. On the other side of that vehicle is going to be the crime scene technicians. We've learned within the last few minutes that at least one person has died here at this homicide investigation in the 3200 block of South Pulaski. We are being told that there's a person of interest that is at least being questioned at this point by homicide detectives at the Little Rock Police Department. This shooting here coming very soon after a lot of crime data was released within the last day or so, showing that Little Rock is on pace for one of its deadliest years in the last decade at least. 51 homicides so far this year. It is important to note as we look at these live pictures, Jay, feel free to interrupt if you need to,
Sure.
that there were 52 homicides in 2017. 52 total homicides in 2017. We are now at the 51st homicide, and it's only September as these crime scene technicians walk back into that area. And Jay, it does look like that alley is completely taped off as the crime scene technicians walk over to that evidence marker.
Yeah, full block here. I believe it is the 3200 block, and I'm not sure what the other street. I want to say it's 32 short is kind of what it's called. Kind of some of the streets in this little area get a little kind of wonky, if you will, with some of the odd one ways and kind of the zigging and zagging. But the street names remain the same. But yeah, from my angle up here at least, it does appear that folks are starting to kind of wrap things up here. And again, we haven't seen them bring out a whole lot of evidence either. But again, just to mention that, as you mentioned, around 11:30 call came in. We got out here maybe about an hour later to the crime scene is what it is, at least at that point. And we have been told as of right now, there is a person who is being questioned. And also, too, that this initially wasn't a homicide, but the situation evolved into a homicide as the person who was shot out here either died en route to the hospital or at the hospital. Still not 100% on that just yet, but we do know that initially this did not start as a homicide, but it eventually has turned into a homicide. And as Mitch has mentioned a few times, it will now be the 51st homicide, and we're not even through the month of September.
Jay Burr out there at the scene. Jay, I want to show you what I'm looking at on our map, and this might help you out. So authorities are on the 3200 block of South Pulaski, and if I have my location right, Jay, the other side of that alley, so your alley would be in this area right here. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's what it looks like. Actually, come down another block because we're on 33rd.
You're on 33rd Street. Okay.
Yeah,
so
we're on 33rd.
So here's 33rd in Pulaski.
Yeah. So right there. So that the smaller kind of cube looking home, I believe, is where officers have been coming in and out of. It's hard to tell from our angle here what was behind there, but
and you're right on 33rd.
Yes.
Okay, so on the other side of 33rd is going to be that alley that we've been watching is going to be West 32nd Street, if I have the positions correct.
Yeah, so we're on 33rd, and there's Pulaski right there, just to the left of your cursor there, and then that one right there appears to be, if I'm looking at things right too, kind of the rectangle with the little jut out there is this blue house right here, and then there's another home right here, and then there's something behind that, and it does appear that officers have been going to that sort of that smaller kind of cube shape there.
Okay, as we look at a map, trying to just set a scene for folks who are joining us. Little Rock Police investigating a homicide on the south end of town. Little Rock Police getting that call around 11:30, according to the city's dispatch log, that it was a disturbance with a weapon in progress call. That has not been confirmed. We are waiting for LRPD to confirm that. That's only initial information that comes in. So we'll get an update from LRPD shortly. It's important to note that according to officers, there is a person of interest that is being at least spoken with, questioned by homicide detectives at the Little Rock Police Department. This is going to be the 51st homicide in the capital city so far this year. Jay Burr joining us here from that scene. Jay, it sounds like you're not the only person out there, even a dog. Just show us what's happening in that area and who's around.
Okay, so kind of what you're seeing, and again, I'm a little elevated, so it's kind of an interesting vantage point here, but obviously crime scene tech's still here. There have been a few people kind of mulling about kind of up and down the street, but a lot of the traffic is kind of left now, either interesting onlookers or just even other homeowners here. And then kind of the fellas that you hear in my background anyways are right there. And two, we're going to try to see if we can get over to 32nd just to kind of see a different vantage point of things. But one of our other photographers, in fact, our chief photographer, Justin, was over on the other side of things earlier, said it's a little bit of a different vantage point. He got here a little before we did. I was able to kind of, take the lay of the land here, but a lot of the traction has been back there. And even you can kind of see this little fence right here where my hand is. That's kind of where a lot of folks have been kind of coming in and out of. Now, I don't know if they're going further back. It's just hard to tell from our vantage point further back in there, or if this is something that actually happened outside. Hard to tell right now, but we'll definitely try to pass along some of those details as soon as we figure them out.
Another vantage point coming in, Jay. This might actually be one of those vantage points that you have not been able to see just yet as the photographers continue to change positions and give us a different perspective. As we continue
it's just kind of down the alley there. In fact, we see some other folks on the other side of, Pulaski here. We've seen some folks over there mulling about as well. So kind of an interesting thing. And I imagine if this is something that did happen outside, it probably caught a lot of folks' attention. It's, unfortunately, probably a very familiar sound to people here in the city. But yeah, we're going to try to, at some point here, we'll swing around to the other side, see if we can get a better vantage point to see what actually might be looking at. Maybe not necessarily the crime scene itself, because there is sort of a fenced area. And then, as you saw on the map, there is a different structure back there. Not sure if that's just a smaller home that's located on Pulaski, or if it's maybe an extension of either this blue home here or this brick and rock home next door to it. This would be 1224 South Pulaski. And I'm not sure what the address here of the Rock home. Next door to it would be, but there is something else back there. Just not sure if it's just an attachment to one of these homes or if it's just a separate home all itself.
All right, Jay Burr, live there at the scene of Little Rock's 51st homicide of 2021. This is all going down in the 3200 block of South Pulaski. Little Rock officers on the scene there. We have learned that this is a shooting. It turned into a homicide, and there is a person of interest that is being questioned by homicide detectives. Jay Burr, I know you got to get going here, and you're going to continue to talk with people out there, and you're going to try and get more information from LRPD. So I appreciate it, sir. Thank you for the updates. If there's anything else, feel free to come back in, and we'll bring you on.
You got it. As soon as we know something, we'll pop back in.
All right. Thanks, Jay. Again, Jay Bird live at the scene of this homicide investigation as we continue to monitor some of these live pictures. I do want to just recap for folks that are just joining us what is happening. This is, again, the 3200 block of South Pulaski. This is Little Rock Police in the city's 51st homicide of 2021. We are just now one homicide away from surpassing all of 2017's total number of homicides. Crime in the city has been a focal point as the city is on pace now for one of its deadliest years in the capital city so far. It is worth noting LRPD yesterday, on Friday, issued a statement saying that it acknowledges that this unsettling uptick in violent crime. Important to note that it's not just in Little Rock. This is an issue that has been unfolding across the nation where violent crime is up, and that they're working diligently to address these violent crime issues. It's worth noting the police chief, Keith Humphrey, said back in May that the city of Little Rock has an issue of working out problems, resorting to violence to solve problems. And so it'll be interesting to see what led up to this shooting today and what led up to somebody losing their life today in the 3200 block of South Pulaski. Worth noting also that we have an entire story available for you on KARK.com and Fox16.com that details the violent crime issue in Little Rock. And you can read more of LRPD's statement there on our website as well. Again, this is the 51st homicide of 2021. Violent crime continues to be an issue. It's worth noting that we are just several hours away from a board of directors meeting. The city government will be meeting later tonight for a regularly scheduled board meeting already. It's unknown right now if board members will bring up the ongoing issues regarding violent crime in Little Rock, specifically that homicide number here in the city, now climbing even today to 51. I'm Mitch McCoy. This has been a special report from KARK4 and Fox 16 as LRPD responds to a deadly shooting in the 3200 block of South Pulaski. I'm Mitch McCoy. Have a good rest of your day.